This is your molar conversion 2. This is looking at converting things to moles or moles to things, or we're going to use the Avogadro's number. So in our previous video, we looked at what moles can convert. So last video, we looked at how moles can convert to mass, which is using the molar mass of your element. This time we're looking at how we can convert that to number of things with the Avogadro's number. So the number of things could represent anything from molecules to atoms to zombies to phones, computers. Doesn't really matter, because one mole of thing has this number of it, right? We have this amount. So let's look at if we were to go back to the apples and oranges and teddy bear example. If you now, we're not looking at mass here. I should change this. This is looking at things, but now we're looking at if we have 1 dozen. 1 dozen has this many things, right? Like just 1 dozen has 12 apples, 1 dozen has 12 oranges, and 1 dozen has 12 teddy bears. But how many dozens would 136 apples have, right? We're not talking about mass here. We're talking about number of things that we have here, right? So if we were to calculate this, you're going to have, let me just get my pen here. If you were to calculate this, this is just looking at 136 and just divide by 12, right? Because we are familiar with dozens and how many that would have. But if we were to set this up in your unit analysis method, this is what it will look like, right? Let me see if my pen is working now. Oh, it doesn't seem like it is working. Oh, here we go. So this is 136. We want to start off with 136, and we're going to write apples, right? Because that's my unit here. So 136 apples, I'm going to do times division bar. And since apples is the unit I'm trying to cancel, I'm going to put apples in the opposite sort of order. So if apples is in the numerator starting point, my apples is going to be in the denominator. And dozen is what I'm trying to find, right? How many dozens? So I'm going to put dozens at the top. So then I'm going to put some conversion factor numbers in here. So 1 dozen has how many apples? We have 12 apples. And if you do the math here, apples and apples would cancel out. And this is just 136 times 1 divided by 12. So if I were to bring up my calculator, this is 136 divided by 12. You have 11.33 apples. So this you have 11, let me see here. 11.33 dozens, not apples. So that's your dozens. Okay, well, that doesn't even look like dozens, but that unit gets carried over there, right? That's why we use unit analysis. So if we were to change this now, how many moles would I have with this number of apples? So you might be wondering, well, can I use moles because this is not chemistry, this is apples? So of course you can. Remember, moles are just a sort of unit conversion. It's a unit of measurement, right? So let's start off with what I have. This is 46999. So this is how many apples I have. So I have 46,999 apples. I need moles, so I'm going to times division bar. Since I need to get rid of apples, apples is going to be in my denominator. So this is going to be my apples here. So then what I want here at the top is that I want moles. So is there one sort of conversion unit that involves moles and number of things? Yes, right? That's your Avogadro's number. So that's your Avogadro's number. And that is, remember, for Avogadro's number, I'm just going to type this 6.022 times 10 to the 23, right? That's what that number is. Let's see if I can superscript this. Okay, I'll just write this one out. 6.022 times 10 to the, and then here I will write 23. And remember, this Avogadro's number is anything that you want. So you can be apples per mole, right? Because it doesn't just necessarily mean atoms or particles. It can be anything. So I'm going to put these numbers in. This is for 1 mole. So mole has the 1, and apples has 6.022 times 10 to the 23. Oh, that doesn't look like a 2. So you notice that my apples here will cancel with the apples, and you're left with the moles. I'm going to put moles here. Let me bring out the calculator so you can see how you should be punching this in. When you're doing this on your calculator, make sure that you guys are not just typing times 10 and then to the power of 23. So how you want to do this is that let's punch in 46999, and then we're dividing it by this number, Avogadro's number. So I'm going to put divide 6.022, and instead of doing times 10 to the power of 23, I'm going to go and use this function. Let's see if this one has it. This exp. This is going to indicate times 10 to the power of 23. So on your calculator, it might be EE, it could be EXP, it all depends on your calculator. But don't do the times 10 to the power of 23. And then you're going to get this number, 7.8 times 10 to the negative 20. It's an incredibly small number because you only have 46,000 or 47,000 apples, right? Remember, 1 mole is that gigantic number. So if you're asked how many moles would that be, like, that's really, really small number, and it looks right to me. So that's 7.6 times 10 to the negative 20. That's your moles. Oh. That's negative 20 to the moles. That's how you want to. That's how you convert that. Let's look at a chemistry example. So if you were to look at how many moles would this number atoms of gold have. So I'm going to start off by writing what I know. So I'm going to put 2.0 times 10 to the 5, and my unit is atoms. And I'm going to times division bar. And since I need to get rid of atoms, I'm going to put atoms at the bottom. And I want moles, so moles is going to be at the top, just like the previous example. So then I need my Avogadro's number. I'm going to put 1 mole has 6.022 times 10 to the 23. And I'm going to do some math with the calculator. So let's try this one, right? So 2.0. And then I'm going to do EXP 5. I'm going to divide by 6.022 EXP 23. And that's my number. I have 3.3 times 10 to the negative 19. So 3.3 times 10 to the negative 19. And this is going to be moles. Notice my atoms got cancelled out. I have moles left. And that's my answer. And if you were to convert the other way, if you're given moles, same way, right? You write what you're provided with. So you have 5.5 moles. And then times division bar, and then moles is going to be at the bottom because you want to get rid of that, and you're trying to find molecules. So molecules is part of the Avogadro sort of thing, right? So you can put molecules in there, and you know that from now you should be able to say that molecules is a thing. I'm going to put my Avogadro's number in here, and for that, that's going to be for 1 mole, and moles are going to cancel out, and now this time is 5.5 times my Avogadro's number. So I'm going to get a pretty big number because I'm multiplying the moles to that. So how I'm going to punch this in is that I'm going to have 5.5 times 6.022 EXP 23. My answer is going to be this enormous number. So we'll probably have to put this in your scientific notation. So let's see. So this is going to be 3.3 times 10. How many decimal places did I have to go? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So that's to the power of 24. And what's my unit? I have molecules. So that's my final answer. So this is your second conversion with moles. This is looking at converting to things. And hopefully that has helped you with mole conversions. Thanks for watching.